this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat. I can't wait to start my first season playing with the Miami Heat and also playing alongside some of the best players in the world.
LeBron, I'm back in Miami, and I love our chances to bring some hardware to South Beach, but we're not going to do it alone.
I'm Chris Bosh, and I left Toronto to sign with the Heat. LeBron, D-Wade, myself, and my teammates are ready to put this franchise back on top.
I'm ready to win my first ring and bring a second championship to South Beach.
So it's Wade's house, LeBron's kingdom, and Bosh's pit, baby.
Here in Boston, we're the Eastern Conference champs. We're feeling good about getting back.
Paul and I re-signed. We're back in Boston. We're excited about that. We added some depth to our front court. Jermaine O'Neal, you all know him, and another O'Neal that you're definitely going to be excited about.
This is Shaquille O'Neal. I'm now a Boston Celtic, and the goal is to bring this beautiful city as AP's banner. Right up there.
Boston and Miami were the only teams in the East that made changes. Here in Orlando, I feel great about getting my first ring, but there's going to be tough competition out there. The Knicks are better with Amari Stoudemire. Carlos Boozer is now a Bull. Joe Johnson re-signed with the Hawks, and the Wizards are ready to show off their #1 draft pick, John Wall.
Gasol knocks it in, and the Lakers advance.
This season, we're going for another three-peat on our 4th straight West title.
So we added some depth to the point guard position with Steve Blake and re-signed Derek Fisher.
But winning it all, it's not going to be easy.
I had a pretty busy summer, but it turned out pretty well. I signed a 5-year extension to stay here with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Then I was the MVP of the FIBA World Championships as we took home the gold to Turkey. Now our goal is to capture the West.
So those are some of the big stories this offseason.
Can't wait to get out there.
See you guys on the court.
All right, so it was a very eventful offseason in your mind, Jalen. What was the biggest move other than, of course, the big three convening in Miami?
9 contending teams. Obviously, if you're a championship contending team, any move you made is substantial. But I'm going Amari Stoudemire with the New York Knicks. You lose out on LeBron James. You tell your fans a couple of years you're going to bring a big free agent in. They did that. Now, can that domino spur Carmelo Anthony? Then possibly Chris Paul. So Amari Stoudemire at this point, and the Knicks may sneak into the 8th playoff spot.
How does his game translate to East Coast basketball?
Well, he's a scorer. He's going to get you big-time points. He will be amongst the league leaders in scoring, playing in Mike D'Antoni's system, something he did with the Phoenix Suns. Raymond Felton is an underrated guard as well. I think he's going to play well. And Gallinari really knocks down the 3.
All right, Chris, your biggest move.
Well, Jalen, you talk about underrated, understated, and to me, it's Kevin Durant signing his name on a full max extension with the Oklahoma City and just kind of sliding under the door and say, I love this team, I'm going to stay here. And that stops a lot of dominoes from falling towards Oklahoma City. And that guy is just an incredible player, a lovable player, and I'm sure Oklahoma City just feels so good about that moving forward.
No big announcement, no big fanfare. Very typical, really, of the way that he's gone about his career in the early going here.
I think it was done beautifully. And he had an unbelievable summer with Team USA. I mean, the sky's the limit for him. But I'm just saying, you look around these free agent non-signings, all the stuff that goes around those teams. Oklahoma City's got their guy in place, and they've got to feel great about that.
Yeah, he and Westbrook had a great summer with Team USA, played for Coach K, who says Westbrook is absolutely unbelievable and could have even more of a breakout season as well. So, okay.
Compare that to the Golden State Warriors, who we're going to preview here shortly, who were fun, run, and gun. They created 102 possessions. Now, the league average is down there at 95. The real question is, how will Eric Spoelstra define his pace going forward? The reason they played at this pace is it worked. They were one of the best teams in the league defensively. They were tremendous defensive efficiency. They led in all categories. They won 47 games with that level of talent. With the jolt of new talent, is he going to turn them loose? Will they create more possessions? And will they keep that identity on the defensive end? It's going to be very intriguing all season long to see how they define what their style is.
All right, Tom Penn, thanks a lot. And, of course, with Eric Spoelstra, we do know that they're going to continue to emphasize defense. As you were down there in the preseason, and it was all about defense there in training camp. What do you anticipate this season?
Well, I think that's the great way to get a running game going is by defense. You know, the less they score, you rebound that ball and get out running. Look, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and LeBron James are going to have no problem getting shots up. I was fortunate enough to play in an up-and-down tempo system with Tim Hardaway and Mitch Richmond. None of us like to pass. We all got our shots up. And a lot of times we just get out in transition. My focus would be more on how those other guys get integrated with those guys. They're going to take care of business. But the defense is the exact way you get out and run. So I think it's a good fit.
I'm really glad you brought out Run TMC, by the way. I'm just glad we got that out of the way. Those were really fun days.
And Google that for you.
Yeah, all right, all you people under, 40.
I think that's why that kid was crying at that stadium. I think he saw those highlights. I think he was crying.
Or those tight
Poor
shorts.
kid, exactly. He started crying. He thought there was a Halloween costume.
But when you talk about pace, it starts with rebounding the basketball and no forcing tempos. And then the guy that gets the rebound has to get it out to the ball handler, and he creates the pace. We have LeBron James, a point forward, running a fast break. Dwayne Wade on the wing finishing. Chris Bosh as a trailer or the other wing. And you have a player like Haslam that can knock down a 15-footer. I don't worry about their break. It's about them playing defense, getting stops, and forcing a fast break. And also, you see Golden State Warriors on there. They force the pace, which is not always good because that means sometimes you give up easy shots to create pace. So for the Miami Heat, it's about balance, and I think they'll find that.
Yeah, I think so, too, and I think it's about defense. Like Chris said, it's all about getting stops, and I believe that this could be one of the best defensive teams in the league, if not the best. We talked about, Tom did, that they were the best last year, giving up just 91.9 a game. And they're going to have offensive weapons. They had nobody last year. Look, Dwayne Wade has carried this team for 2 years. I mean, he's got to be the happiest guy in the world, obviously, to get LeBron and Chris Bosh. But he doesn't have to do it on a nightly basis. And this team can win defensively as well as offensive. They can play both ways. They want to go up and down with the Golden State Warriors. They got no problem doing that. If they want to get in a slugfest with the Chicago Bulls or the Boston Celtics, they can do that as well. So I think this team can play both ways, but it's going to come down to defense and rebounding.
How do you envision, though, offensively, because you look at these three guys and you look at their numbers and the amount of touches that they're used to getting, how do you envision all of that meshing together?
Well, I think it's going to mesh just seamlessly because they're all different talents. LeBron is a magic-type player. He is unselfish. He doesn't mind handling the ball at the point and giving it up. Dwayne Wade's more like a Michael Jordan, can do everything with the ball, go get a shot on his own. And I think the biggest beneficiary is going to be Chris Bosh. When he gets in that mid-post elbow area, he's going to be able to play one-on-one a lot, which he wasn't able to do a lot in Toronto. And the other two guys on the court, they're basically going to be looking at open shots.
Okay, so if there's a potential downside here, what is it? Is there one?
The center position for me and rebounding the basketball. I think those are the only two. I think they're going to see a lot of zone. You got to say, look, I'm not going to let Dwayne Wade and LeBron James get to the cup and get to the free throw line double-digit times, which they are accustomed to doing. You've got to make these guys jump shooters. Obviously, you don't leave a Mike Miller, you don't leave an Eddie House, but you got to make somebody else beat you. And I totally agree that Chris Bosh will be the biggest beneficiary of this because you can't guard all three guys. Somebody's going to be open. You're not going to stay in front of Dwayne Wade. You're not going to stay in front of LeBron James. And Chris Bosh will be standing out there wide open from 15, 18 feet, a very capable jump shooter.
And the major thing that doesn't show up in the box score is these guys like one another and trust one another. So on bad possessions, they're going to pick each other up. On good possessions, they're going to use that momentum and feed off of that. This is the kind of team that can turn a 6-0 run into a 15-2 run just that fast.
I think, Jalen, the one big thing for me is LeBron and Dwayne Wade. They have to become spot-up shooters because that's the shots they're going to get a lot, and that's not their best part of their game. They're accustomed to having the basketball and making moves. Now, LeBron James drives from the right side. He kicks it to Dwayne Wade. He's got to hit that spot-up shot because he's not going to have a lot of room sometimes. So I think they got to have some improvement from their spot-up shooting.
Those long two-pointers.
Yeah, right. They're not going to let you get to the lane. Right. I got to think teams are packing it in.
And I would say one other thing I think as the season moves along and even his career, I think the more LeBron starts getting into the post and punishing people and not taking what the defense gives, but saying, you know what, you give me an 18-footer, I'm still going in the post. You're going to have to double or triple team me, and I'm going to get Mike Miller and these other guys shots. And I think the more he imposes his will down the post, like Michael Jordan did, like Kobe does now, that's another part of his game we haven't seen yet. And that's going to be something I think they'll implement as the season rolls on.
Can't wait to see them actually play. Boy, have we talked and talked and talked about this.
Tuesday. I'm tired of it.
It's going to be Tuesday. The Miami Heat are going to be there and playing the Boston Celtics. And won't that be fun? And then a week from tonight, of course, we're going to see the Heat. Magic, a game you